Hello, this is Corey Tabor, the Purpose Partner, founder and president of Triple I Coaching, where we are informing, instructing, and inspiring you to fulfill your purpose. On June 21st in Edinburgh, Texas, I pre-released my new book, History in the Making, 7 Keys to Making History in Your Lifetime. There are 2 Ds connected to 5 Es that will help you make the history. After there are 2 Ds connected to 5 Es that will help you make history. There are 2 Ds connected to 5 Es that will help you make history. A decision. A decision is the ability to say yes. Yes, I want to lose weight. Yes, I want to get a job. Yes, I want to get married. E, discipline, the ability to say no to something so you can say yes to something else. I'm saying no to cookies so I can say yes to losing weight. I'm saying no to this girl so I can say yes to my wife. I'm saying no to saving money so I can say yes to being out of debt. There is a decision that has to be made first, and then a discipline that has to be implemented in order to make history in your lifetime. The 5 Es, excellence, doing the best you can with what you have. You don't have what everybody's been given, but you have what you've been given, and you can do the best you can with that. Effort, doing the best you can when you don't have to. Most people just do what they need to do to get by, but you have an opportunity to go above and beyond the minimum to get history done in your lifetime. Expectations. Many of us have high expectations and unrealistic expectations, honestly, about what life should be. And so we teach you how to manage your expectations so you're satisfied or surprised at least 80% of the time. Education is not just getting information, but it's learning how to learn. So we talk about how can you learn how you learn so that you can learn anything. And then experience. We talk about the importance of being able to match your education with experiences so what you are learning in a book can come to life in your body as you experience it in real life. Man, I've got some stories in here on history makers who you will recognize and some that you probably haven't met yet. So I want to encourage you to go ahead and click the link in the bio. Purchase the book today. We need to sell 150 copies pre-sale for the publisher to release the book. This is not in my hands. This is in your hands. Some of you all have already pre-ordered the book. I want to encourage you to go ahead and contact your mama, your daddy, your cousin, your friends, your pastor, your principal, your teacher. Get anybody you know to get a copy of this book today and to give you an extra bonus. If you pre-order the book before the pre-sale ends, then I'll also give you a free version of the first chapter of the book in audio. All right, I'm giving you audio, free first chapter of the book in audio if you purchase the book before the pre-sale ends. So go ahead and click the link in the bio, get a copy of History in the Making, 7 Keys to Making History in Your Lifetime. Make history and help us launch this book so we can make a difference while you are experiencing history today.
What did you expect? This is a question that you must ask and answer multiple times a day as you engage your purpose, encounter people, and experience problems. What did you expect? Expectations are the key to how you experience what is happening in your life. Early in my career, I developed a concept I call the expectation equation. If you have a high expectation and you get a high outcome, that equals satisfaction. If you expect to make $100 and you make $100, you're satisfied. If you have a high expectation and you get a higher outcome, that equals surprise. If you expect to make $100 and you make $200, you're surprised. $100 worth of surprise. If you have a high expectation and you get a lower outcome, that equals disappointment. If you expect to make $200 and you only make $100, you're disappointed by $100. You may be struggling right now, and it's not simply because of what happened to you. It's because of what you expected to happen for you. Maybe you were raised to believe that if you go to college, get a good education, you'll get a great job, make great money, have great relationships, and experience a great life. In reality, you have a good education, whether it's formal or not. You have a good job to make some money, you have some good relationships, you have a good life, but it's not the life you expected, so now you're disappointed. What used to be a great job now leaves many being underemployed based on their lifestyle and the rising cost of living. When you got married, you expected your wife to cook every night. But as a working mother, she can only cook 2 to 3 times a week. You expected your husband to know what you needed, but you assumed if he loved you, then you wouldn't have to say it. So you never told him, and he can't read your mind. You expected your children to understand the decisions they were making and the consequences associated with them. But their understanding is not at your level. You expected your friend or your boss or your pastor or you fill in the blank to be perfect, but they proved to be human like everyone else. You're not really mad, you're just disappointed. Maybe you're not really jealous, you're just disappointed. You may not actually be depressed. You may just be disappointed. Charles Swindoll is credited with saying life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react. I'm not telling you to lower your expectations, but I am encouraging you to manage them. Manage your expectations so that you're satisfied or surprised more than you're disappointed. You can't always control your outcomes, but you can control your expectations. Maybe your boss just had a bad day and they don't know how to develop others. Maybe your spouse can cook, but they need your help with meal planning and grocery shopping. Maybe your children aren't as wise as you think they are, and they need to make some mistakes to gain that wisdom. Maybe you need to add to your education in a more practical way that helps you gain more marketable skills. Maybe life isn't what you thought it would be, but it's actually better than it is for most. What did you expect? You expected life to be better, but God has given you an opportunity to get better by setting realistic expectations, developing an attitude of gratitude, and seeing today as a gift to do both. I'm Corey Tabor, the Purpose Partner, informing, instructing, and inspiring you to fulfill your purpose.